Hey, welcome to the round 3 review. After the Blues get another win on Good Friday, it was 21 goals 11, 137 to 12 goals 9, 81 in front of 47,500 people at Marvel Stadium. That was great. That was a solid performance, and started the season undefeated. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, which is a really nice change and a really nice experience. Good Friday, obviously, is the new fixture that is, it looks like it's going to be a permanent thing for us now for the next, good chunk of time. And it was a special day. It was a long day. I got up really early. I mean, game day, I don't know. Like when I wake up on game day, it's just the moment your eyes like remotely open, that's it. They're eyes wide open. It's one of the best and easiest ways to wake up when there's a game on during the day. So woke up early, played tennis in the morning, got a workout in, and then headed to Danini's. That's where my day started. 1:30 p.m. booking. Did a fantastic job throughout the week to get that fully booked out. There were people everywhere. Every table was full. We had a nice lunch. It was like I said in the preview, it was the quintessential Carlton experience, and fantastic job by the Danini family, Marco and Ricardo in particular, who hosted the day and just set the tone for the good vibes. And that's what they do. They're like family. So started there, off to Marvel Stadium for the Good Friday game. And yeah, I think going into the game, I think the previous game against the Tigers, I was really confident. I thought we were just a class above, and we're favourite to win, and we probably didn't handle that as well as what I thought we would have. So going into this game, I did feel the same. I thought like we're just better. We're just a little bit more mature, a little bit more advanced than what North Melbourne are. We should be winning. But footy's a weird game, and the moment you start thinking in such a way, that leaves you a little vulnerable, to get potentially beaten. I never thought we would be beaten. I did feel like North would challenge us at some point. And to be honest, the game played out pretty much exactly how I hoped it would and thought it would. North challenged early, and then as soon as the quarter started getting, late and into that red time, we started capitalising, and it really was just, stock standard 9-goal win against a team that's very early in, or just not very early. They're just early in their development, and that was the pleasing part. I think the first quarter in particular, what I noticed was, well, firstly the tackle pressure. I mean, that was, I don't know, maybe that was something they focused on before the game, but just to set the tone of how they wanted to play and how they wanted to go about it. 27 tackles in the first quarter, which is a phenomenal number when you think about it. The use of the corridor, spoke about it on the fan cams last night. I took a look at the AFL app at quarter time, and the heat map was just this solid oblong thing in the middle of the ground. Just the willingness to do that. North kicked a few goals. I think 3 of them were from free kicks. We were a little sloppy in some of those contests. But after that, I thought we just capitalised and just got better as the game went on. I think overall, we probably would want to clean up a bit of what we saw last night. So you come away from that game, solid win, percentage boost. You get your percentage in the 120s, and you're undefeated. We've exposed a few new people and pieces to the system, and ultimately you're happy with that. If you dive a little deeper into it, the way we scored off turnover, that is now becoming something that we're seeing. I felt like it was symbolic of a layer that we're clearly trying to add to this team, and we've got the tools to do it now, particularly in that back line. Speaking of which, let's talk about the back line. So Wiedering and Marchbank come in for essentially Lewis Young and Brody Kemp. I thought both of them looked a little slow, particularly early. I think Marchbank had 3 free kicks given away. And then as the game went on, they got better. Marchbank obviously suffered a concussion after the sickening hit from, collision with Jordan Boyd. It happened sort of right below me where I was sitting. I was on level 2 right where it happened, and I saw Jordan Boyd he had the eyes for the footy the whole time. And I remember thinking like, no, like this is not the ball to go for, or if he's going, Marchie, stay back. And I guess it might have just been a miscommunication, but more importantly, it was, just awful for Marchie to go down like that. And it looks like we're going to miss him for at least the 12-day protocol and see what happens after that. So that was a defence. I think on paper, it looked as good a defence as what we've seen in some time. I'd like to see Marchie get a few more games in there to see what it looks like when he's sharp. But I think now we know that we've got Kemp there, who played in the VFL, played relatively well from all reports. I didn't watch the game, but from what I'm told, he did play well. Just goes to show what we've got down there. Thought the mids stepped it up. George Hewitt in particular and Patrick Cripps just continue to play their way. They're not doing too much. They're playing to their strengths. I felt most, if not all, of the midfield played to their strengths. And, I thought De Koning in the middle of the ground continued to show his evolution. It was interesting. We lost the clearance battle. We dominated in most of the statistics, but when you look at what's important to us and what we usually look like, we look at the clearances, we look at the stoppage results. So a little bit of room for improvement there, but I just think we're looking mature. We look like a mature team that got the job done in a professional way and sort of did what they should do against such a side. And then the forwards. I mean, Harry and Charlie, it was a show that they put on. Granted, North's defence is not great, and we spoke with Marnie, who is from the Further North YouTube channel podcast, and she was giving us that insight about North Melbourne. They're very much an attacking side at this stage, and so we on the Carlton side, we know you win that midfield battle, you get that ball inside 50, give yourself as many opportunities as you can, and you go from there. But I think an important stat that showed up last night was the 19 tackles inside 50. And that's a positive sign. Now, whether we can replicate that against better sides is the question. We'll find out in the next few weeks, because we play some better sides in the next few weeks and some sides who are all looking at being in that finals contention. So that was that. I thought the small forwards, I think I came away from that game feeling like all of them did their bit, and with Motlop still to come into the side, I don't know what it's going to look like. I thought Owie started a little slow, got himself going, kicked the 3. Durden took his opportunities before being subbed. I mean, Fogarty with his tackling is just a sight to behold. You love to see it. And they just look confident. And I think after the fan cams as well, I started realizing there are some serious selection headaches. And then you sort of look at some of these half forwards as well. That's the other big question about us going forward this season. And you add a bloke by the name of Elijah Hollins, aka the Prophet. He comes in and just plays. He actually played exactly what I had seen him train. And I guess the question mark was what is it going to look like with him in the side? He looked great in the preseason. That's been widely reported from everybody. I think for me, the most impressive part about what I saw in his preseason was the intensity in which he trains. And sometimes that doesn't translate to game day, but it definitely did for him. Kicking into the corridor on his left, the tackling pressure. He probably needed a quarter and a bit to get into the flow of the game. And once he did, he looked sharp. I thought Matt Kennedy, who actually was probably a story that we missed on the fan cams last night, the piece that came out about Matt Kennedy and his faith and, the vulnerability to speak openly about, feeling like he was living a double life, with his faith and then wanting to be a part of his footy culture at the Giants and obviously at Carlton. And I think what I'm noticing more and more, seemingly by the week, there's a new story that pops up seemingly every week about our players and their maturity, and they're starting to talk in ways about themselves and what they've learnt in life in ways that I haven't seen before. Last week it was, Cripps talking about, becoming a father. These themes are coming up. Matt Kennedy talking about his faith, and obviously on Good Friday it was an important day for him. You got Saad with Ramadan. Like we've got some real depth. Not on the field. I mean, on the field we do, but with the people, with the characters, they're starting to really show who they are and come into their own as adults and as men and the impact they want to leave, on the club, and that's pleasing. That's cool. That's really cool to see. So, shout out to Matt Kennedy. I thought that was a really awesome piece. But yeah, too big, too strong, too mature. Harry and Charlie too good. Harry Mackay just continues to look. He looks super. He looks dynamite. The strength in his body is just. We're blessed. We've got 2 Coleman medalists in our forward line. We're blessed, and I feel like you have to look at it like that. To have the 2 of them and to know that they're still chipping away at getting better at working off each other, working with each other, their leading patterns, etc. So, yeah, I thought it was a good performance, borderline great performance. Got plenty to work on, plenty to tidy up. I think there are a few things there that you're not going to get away with against the better sides, but ultimately you can only play, who's on the fixture, and that's what it was. And, I think the supporter base wanted a convincing win. Was it a convincing win? I think so. And, we move forward from there. That's pretty much it. It was a good Friday. My player of the game, I will stick with Harry. He just, like I said, continues to assert himself, dominate. I just love the way he's going about it, and I love the redemption arc that seems to be taking place. And then doing a bit, it's hard because I probably would give Charlie the 2 votes, but the way I'm watching Patrick Cripps just lead is special. And I don't know, is the Brownlow still on? I feel like it's still on. He's a proven vote getter. I don't know if he'll get more than 1 or 2 votes from last night's performance, but I just love the makeup of what his stat line looks like after a game. Handball heavy, playing to his strengths. And I forget who came on the fan cams recently, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago after Richmond. And they compared him to Joel Selwood in the latter stages of Joel Selwood's career, where Joel seemed to be able to find the moments to step up. And I feel like Cripps is starting to show that. When the game starts getting out of favour for us, he gets into it and he lifts, and he's finding this ability to understand when to assert himself and when not to. I think it took him a few years. I think, in seasons gone past, we would make comments about like he's trying to do a little too much, and it's not like that anymore. And it's elevating his game. And yeah, I feel like he should be credited. And, there's so many of them that you want to talk about, and that's the beauty. And just to follow on from what I've said throughout the week, like this is the best 15, 16 game run I've ever seen in my entire life supporting this club. So I'm super excited. I'm also mindful, and I've learnt some lessons in the last few seasons of not getting too caught up too early. So it's a balance between knowing that it's a marathon, but also, just enjoying it. Like to go to the football last night and watch us beat up on a side. Like I still remember, I've probably been, you guys as well, how many games do you think you've been to where we've lost by 8, 9, 10, 11 plus goals, and you sit in the crowd and there was always that moment of like, one day this will be us, one day it'll be worth it. Like, I look forward to that one day when we're doing that to teams. And so to sit there last night and to watch us do it to a team, yeah, you've got to take a moment, I think, to appreciate that turnaround. I felt a little scared last night. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit intimidated, if I'm honest, and I'll always be honest on this channel and my views on games, and that's all I can be. But there's just a tough, big, bruising, like bad boy that plays for North, and he just scares me. And he's so tough, and he does all the tough stuff. He just, I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to go watch North Melbourne games nowadays when you got big bad Sue Vlaki. Can't believe it. I tried to forgive him after 2022, and he just keeps, like, I want to like him. I think he's a good player. And I just think he continues to showcase things that I feel like he'll regret one day in his career. Could have seriously hurt Mitch McGovern, put him in a compromising position. I just thought it was a bit silly. Come on, Suv. Come on. I want to like you. I want to enjoy you. And I want to respect you, but I can't. I can't do it when you're doing that. I think more importantly, though, to watch the reaction. And by the way, it wasn't just the Mitch McGovern pull. It was all the off-the-ball stuff that I was watching when the cameras weren't on. But there were two instances in particular which I really liked from him, from us. And that was the way Jacob Wiedering responded, which was on camera. And then I haven't watched the replay yet, but Adam Sard also got stuck into him when I think he had a collision with Jordan Boyd potentially, or went at Jordan Boyd. And so, yeah, there was a bit of a test of the group's commitment to one another. And I think they showed their ability to stand up for each other. So that's important. And, Larky, what are you doing, mate? Come on. Come on. Why do we have to talk about you like this? Why do you have to be like this? Just grow up. Anyway, said my bit. Couldn't help myself. What about you? What was your Friday like? Document it below in the comments. And, we move on next week. Gather round against Freo, who had a solid win last night as well against the Dockers. And we'll go from there. See you in the comments. Go Blues.